You have to take your money and make that money work for you.
Was there an
And
event, a moment, an event, a book, maybe a motivational
yeah,
speaker that broke that message through?
I think the very first time it kind of clicked was when I read Rich Dad Poor Dad
That's where
by
I was
Robert
going.
Kiyosaki.
For a lot of investors, that's certainly true for me.
Right. Yeah. So if your listeners haven't read that book yet, definitely download it now. Get it on Audible. It will change like the framework of your mind. And it's things aren't gonna happen overnight, but like just planting that seed in your mind and just thinking about this difference of like, oh, I don't have to keep trading my time for money my whole life. That's the only way you're ever going to get time freedom. And that's the only way you're ever going to have true wealth. Because think about all the billionaires, 100 millionaires, decamillionaires. Like, you really think they're trading their time for money all the time? How are you going to get to $1 billion doing that? Like, you really can't. You need leverage. And the first thing you have to leverage is the money you do make and making that make more money for you.
And it starts out with discipline, because it really doesn't take a lot to live a comfortable middle class life.
Right.
If you're even with a spouse netting close to or slightly over 100,000, I mean that's in most markets, maybe not San Francisco, but in most markets, it's a pretty good life. But getting some education on how to actually acquire passive assets that you can provide income passively that can grow exponentially over time. It has a remarkable effect over a 10-year period, 15-year period.
It is, yeah. I started in just wanting to have financial freedom. I was 2014, so that was like what, 7 years ago now, and to now live it, right? To actually be able to say that I don't ever have to work anymore because my money works for me. Like, that's crazy to do that in 7 years,
Yeah,
and that and
and
that's a
at your age,
reality.
but because
Right.
at your age too, because if you remember in Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think when Robert Kiyosaki was writing that, like he was much older than we are today.
Right.
And then I would imagine like most of the people coming to you for this type of education, rough average, what would you say like a mean or like an average of the age?
Probably mid 30s.
Hmm. Okay. But do you get folks that are coming to you, they're like in their 50s
Yeah, we
and
do.
and they're still looking for that. But a lot of them think like, man, I wish I would have did it then. But it doesn't take much. It does take action consistently,
It
right?
does. Yeah, yeah. One of our members, they actually started working with us like, last year, and then they're in their mid 50s and they just retired this year. So it doesn't have to take a whole long time. It depends from person to person, because most people who are in their 40s or 50s have something, right?
Hmm.
Whether it's equity in your home or maybe they bought a few rentals. And our whole philosophy is working smarter with your money, not necessarily working harder. Because to be honest, most of you guys watching are already working really, really hard, right? Like, but it's those little tweaks, right? Little changes in how you make your money work for you. Like, one example we talk about with in our YouTube and Instagram stuff is like getting a lower interest loan on maybe your renter properties or like a line of credit on your home, and then finding really solid investments. Like the guest right before me was talking about some class A preferred returns that really in the multifamily space is very, very low risk. So it's almost the best chance you're going to get at that
Hmm.
9-10% return. So if you borrow at 3 and you make 10, look, you make that spread at 7%. And if you do that over all of the lazy money, lazy equity you have in all of your properties and all of your bank accounts, right? Just imagine how much more passive income you can make.
And it makes even more sense now with inflation at 7+%.
Yes.
It's really a no brainer.